Thank you. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much. My dear conference, we'll go ahead with the next session, and that is session 4, Sustaining the Sustainability Journey. For this, I'd like to call upon the chair of the session. I think I request all the guests to kindly take their seats so that we can go ahead with the scientific session. Good afternoon. Can you please lend me your ears, my dear friends? Yeah. I'd like to call upon Dr. Ashwini Amreshwar to chair this session on sustaining the sustainability journey, and Dr. Narayan Sehgal to moderate the session. Nobody is interested. Come on, guys, please listen to me. I think everybody is streaming out. We're not allowed to stream out. We still have a conference to do. Please take your seats. Let us start the next session. Otherwise, we'll be out of time. We are here. We are in Hyderabad. We'll drag the session for 1 more hour if you want to. But if you want to complete on time, I request everybody to take their seats, please. Nobody is interested. Dr. Alex, I think there's some problem. Okay, I request Dr. Ashwini Amreshwar to kindly come out to the dais. I don't see Ashwini. Where is Ashwini? Come. Dr. Narayan Sehgal, sir, please come. Once you come, I think we can kickstart the session. Request everybody to kindly take their seats. Don't stand here.
Warm welcome to all the delegates, participants, students, speakers, and all my friends. Very good morning to all. I request everyone to take seats, please. It's a decorum we are maintaining because international conference. Let's please come on to your seats, please. I request everyone. Sorry. Today's topic is, my topic I want to address the chair is the sustainability journey in the healthcare. Sustainable healthcare is not a one-time initiative, but a continuous journey that integrates environmental, social commitment, effective governance into daily operations. Healthcare organizations have a unique responsibility to provide high health quality care while minimizing the environmental footprint, ensuring long-term organizational resilience. We have 10 key points sustaining in healthcare. The strategies, we mean the leadership commitment and governance, like HELP, establish a sustainability committee with the clear roles and responsibilities, integrate the goals into the organization strategy plan, regularly monitor them and review sustainable performance indicators, ensure compliance with national and international health standards, energy efficiency and carbon reduction, adopt energy efficient lighting, HV systems and medical equipment, utilize renewable energy sources such as solar energy, monitor energy consumption through smart energy management systems, develop carbon food target systems, waste management and biomedical hazardous recyclable and generative waste source, promoting recycling and reuse safe. Yes, I'm finishing, sir. ensure safe disposal of biological waste, water conservation, install water fixture, conduct periodic audits, sustainable procurement, work with suppliers, and also green buildings, infrastructure, and staff management engagement, conduct rectal sustainable training programs, and last but very is EMR. And the last to conclude is promote health equity and also accessibility. So I want to say about energy consumption, water usage, water emissions, recycling rates, benchmarking performance against industries. To conclude, sustaining health journey in healthcare requires strong leadership, resource efficiency, innovation, and continuous improvement. By embedding sustainability in the organization culture and decision making, healthcare institutions can improve patient outcomes, reduce environmental impact, enhance operational efficiency. Finish up. Now let me introduce the chair. I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Punam, Director, NABH, National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. She's a Quality Council of India, an MBBS graduate with a postgraduate qualification in pathology. She brings over 2 decades of expertise in healthcare quality, accreditation, and capacity building. Dr. Bajaj has played a pivotal role in developing accreditation standards, assessment frameworks, and also accelerated training aligned with international best practices, including ISQ standards. A distinguished faculty member, a keynote speaker, her work reflects a deep commitment to patient safety, health systems, strengthening and quality, excellence in healthcare. So may I request Madam to have a seat, and thank you very much. I'd also request and welcome Ms. Priyanka Anchalia, Assistant Director NABH, on the stage. I request Dr. Nareen Sehgal, is a H.E.L.P state leader for Delhi. Yes, sir. He is a highly experienced general and laparoscopic surgeon with over 45 years of medical practice. He is a founder and medical director at Sehgal New Hospital at Paschim Vihar, New Delhi. Sir is a moderator for the session. Thank you so much for this program, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let me start with congratulating the organizing team for such a beautiful venue, which is also very well aligned with sustainability. It is just incidental that it has happened very many times that my session is either before lunch when people are hungry and eager to walk out, or after lunch when they sleep. So, but in any case, seeing such a full packed hall of audience, I am sure we will be able to generate enough interest in the subject. So it is my privilege to welcome you all to this important session on NABH's journey towards sustainable healthcare. Healthcare today stands at a very critical crossroads. While our save lives, we must also recognize the healthcare systems consume significant resources, generate substantial waste, and contribute to environmental impact. The challenge before us is clear. How do we continue to provide safe, high-quality, patient-centered care while ensuring environmental stewardship, economic viability, and social responsibility? This is where sustainability becomes not just an organizational agenda, but a strategic imperative for healthcare organizations. And today, what we see is in India, accreditation has played a pivotal role in driving quality and patient safety. Increasingly, it is also becoming a catalyst for promoting sustainable practices across healthcare organizations. No institution is better positioned to guide this transformation than the National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers, NABH. And today we are privileged to have with us Dr. Punam Bajaj, Director, NABH. She has also already been introduced, and also Ms. Priyanka Anchalia, Assistant Director, NABH, on the stage. NABH has expanded the quality agenda beyond patient safety and clinical excellence to include environmental stewardship, climate resilience, resources, efficiency, social responsibility, and sustainable governance, making sustainability an integral part. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Punam Bajaj, Director, NABH, to share insights on NABH's journey towards sustainable healthcare.
Thank you so much, sir, for this nice introduction. Good afternoon to all. And at the outset, I would like to thank the organizers, especially Dr. Alexander Thomas, for inviting us and to give us this opportunity to share NABH's journey towards sustainable healthcare. So I'll start. Before I start, I just want to introduce NABH to you all. So NABH is a national board for National Accreditation Board for Hospitals and Healthcare Providers. So it is a constituent board of Quality Council of India, which is an autonomous body under DPIIT, which is Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and it is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It was set up in year 1997. As a joint venture of Government of India and 3 industry bodies, that is CII, H.E.L.P and FICCI. The appointment of the chairperson of Quality Council of India happens through Prime Minister Office. So it reflects that, that quality is embedded in the national framework, national governance. So if we see the mandates of Quality Council of India, you would see that the mandate is of Quality Council of India is to provide accreditation framework in country through its 4 accreditation boards. The other mandate is to spread quality movement in India and to help establish quality of Indian products and services, represent India's interest in international fora, and provide right and authentic information on quality and standards of quality. Now, QCI since inception in 1997 has always been shaped up and nurtured by renowned and luminaries, leaders as chairpersons, starting from Mr. Ratan Tata, who was the first chairperson of Quality Council of India, then Dr. Mashelkar, and Mr. Arun Maira, Mr. Amitabh Kant, and Adil Zainulbhai. They were the ones who brought, the perspective of policy and the technology, innovation, everything to Quality Council of India and shaped Quality Council of India, what you are seeing today. So if you see the leadership, Mr. Jakshesha is the present chairperson of Quality Council of India, and Mr. Chakravarti T. Kannan is the Secretary General of Quality Council of India. And if you see the healthcare side, Mr. Rizwan Koita is the chairman of NABH, and he's the co-founder of Citius Tech and Koita Foundation. So just about NABH, NABH was born in year 2005. And in 2006, it was the first standard of hospital which was rolled out. And there was no looking back. And over 2 decades, NABH has evolved from propagation, doing awareness in the whole country, and helping the hospitals to adopt the standards, to continued adherence, and embedding the best practices in the operations. So in year 2024 and 25, there were landmark things happened, and NABH rolled out guidebook on climate change and sustainability in healthcare. And in 2025, we launched a certification scheme, a certification standard for climate change, resilience, and sustainability. So this reflects that NABH is not standing still. it's evolving day by day and is meeting the needs of the evolving healthcare. So it's, doing all its bits to, to evolve and to make the healthcare landscape, or whatever is needed as the day, as the need of the hour. So if we see the global recognition, so NABH standards, they are not confined only to India. NABH is amongst 37 countries which have their own standards, which have homegrown standards. So this reflects that, NABH has that capability of, to develop standards which are, well fitted for the Indian text or Indian settings. NABH is a member of ISQA, that is International Society for Quality in Healthcare, as well as ISQA, and we are also on the Accreditation Council of ISQA. Now, if you see the core activities of NABH, you will see that, the outreach is remarkable. Over 20 years, we have touched almost 28,000 healthcare organizations of wide spectrum. And CGHS and ECHS also have entrusted us with the responsibility of doing assessments for empanelment of hospitals. So if you see the headings, there are heads under which we do our functioning or our activities, which are accreditation, certification, empanelment, projects, and trainings. So under accreditation, we have all sorts of standards, right from the standards for big hospitals, standards for small hospitals, Ayush facilities, dental, blood bank, MIS, and you name the facility, the type of facility, and we have the standards. Certification, they are the one step below the main standards, which are certification or entry-level standards. So we have standards for big hospitals, small hospitals. We have standards for medical laboratory, emergency department, HIS, EMR, nursing excellence, dental, stroke centers. Plus, we offer trainings also, trainings for healthcare professionals. So almost 150,000 healthcare professionals have been trained by NABH over last 10 to 15 years. So these are the NABH standards, which are free to download, and they're available on the website of NABH, www.nabh.co. And you can log on to our website, just register and see whatever standard is relevant to you, and you can just refer to that standard. Now, NABH is, as I said, is not confined to Indian boundaries. It has global presence. So we have presence in other countries too. We have accredited hospitals in Philippines, Bangladesh, Nepal, Oman, and Bhutan. And there are many more countries which have shown interest to go ahead with accreditation of NABH. Now, just coming to climate resilience and sustainability. So NABH has started, and NABH has put a step towards this also, because this is the need of the hour. So if we see the climate risk index, it was given by the environment think tank German Watch, and in year 2022, the climate risk index for India, India was ranked at 49th. So after 2 years, like 2024, it has been ranked as 15. So just see the deterioration which is happening. Now, the question is it affecting healthcare organizations also? The answer is yes, it is already started to affect the healthcare organizations. Climate change is the biggest global threat of 21st century. The rising temperatures, the changing rainfall patterns, it's a global crisis, and we all have to get ready and be prepared to tackle with this big problem. Now, healthcare organizations, they face a double challenge, the double burden, because on one side they are getting victimized, and they are they are facing the brunt of this climate change. On the other side, They have to respond to the needs of the people, the more of emergency and the disease patterns which are which are getting due to this climate change which are happening. Now, if we see the healthcare sector, it also contributes to over 4 to 5% of global emissions, because during the operations, during the energy use, the supplies, transportation, the green gases which are getting emitted. So these are also contributing to the climate change. So there was a study which said that there is a risk of 1 in 12 hospitals worldwide which are at the risk of total or the partial shutdown. So this calls for immediate action by the healthcare organizations. So scarcity of water, rising sea levels, rising temperature, these all are contributing to, which we will see that, the hospitals are getting shut down because of these. They are getting, victimized by all this. Now, on one side, there are impacts of climate change in the form of extreme weather events, heat events, droughts, increased rain precipitation, rising sea level, air quality is getting affected, vector redistribution. On the other side, the climate sensitive health risks are also increasing. More and more people are getting affected by the climate change, and they're getting respiratory illnesses, heat related illnesses, waterborne illnesses, vector-borne malnourishment, and then non-communicable diseases and mental and psychological health. So if you see the slide, so in the center is in the middle is the healthcare organization, the hospital. Now, it is having a double burden. On one side is getting impacts of climate change. On the other side, they have to respond to the health illnesses or the health effects which the people are getting affected by. So the healthcare organization have to contribute, and they have to respond in the form that energy use has to be efficient. The waste has to be managed. The waste management is to be focused upon, and then the carbon footprint which the hospitals are generating has to be reduced. They have to focus on the supplies and materials and have to meet the procurement and food transportation. Now, today climate action is not a choice. It's not an option. So it's a necessity as well as a responsibility. It's a need of the hour. So it's a pressing challenge for the healthcare organization and the hospitals. So they have to respond, they have to immediately act towards the climate change. And they have to do something, within the healthcare organization. They have to embed the best practices to deal with these climate change effect. And it's, as the healthcare providers, the bigger responsibility is towards the Mother Earth to save the planet. So it's come as a dual responsibility. So the objectives of this climate action is to create awareness so that every person, every staff of hospital is aware about this climate change and the effects of the climate which is happening to. We have to guide the healthcare organization how to embed, how to implement the best practices within the operation so that it becomes a habit in the day-to-day operations, and prepare them, empower them to self-assess, to find the opportunities, to see the risks, and to plan and implement the strategies. So I'll just take you through the NABH journey. So it was, it happens almost a decade ago when we released our 4th edition. Presently, we are into 6th edition of our hospital standards. So when we rolled out our 4th edition of standards, we introduced the concept of green hospitals. It was just meant to, sensitize the healthcare organizations about the sustainability. It was just, we had just touched the sustainability concept. After 4 years, we gave 4 years to the hospitals, and then we released the 5th edition, which was a much more, comprehensive, and it touched the waste management, green hospitals, plan for emergencies, and risk management. It was a more structured framework, which was a one step, above the fourth edition. Now we have entered into the sixth edition in 2024. Now this is a very, very, this is a milestone actually I would call. And climate change strategy, it brings, a very, very structured framework and gives the hospitals to, to have that opportunity of, to do the waste reduction, to deal with the greenhouse emissions and carbon footprint reduction, social and governance sustainability, responsible supply chain partnership, risk management and plan for emergencies, and reduce, recycle and reuse, RRR. And use of products with lower environmental impact, public transportation, e-vehicles and solar power. So just go to our website and you will see that in ROM chapter, there is a dedicated standard on this ESG. Now, after releasing this sixth edition, we got this idea that, we have to, it's a need of the hour that, we have to have some kind of, a comprehensive and a detailed framework around this ESG and the sustainability. So in this, taking this as a opportunity, we rolled out our guidebook on 17 September 2024. You just see this guidebook. This guidebook is available free of cost. Is a free resource. It's a practical resource for the implementation of sustainability practices within the healthcare organization. Second thing we did was we rolled out our self-certification scheme. Now we will rely on the hospital. We are not going to go and assess the hospital physically. We will empower the hospital to self-assess, collect the evidences, upload on a portal or a website, and we will give the certificate which will be valid for 2 years. Plus, we have also started to, to do the capacity building and to start the training courses around climate change resilience and sustainability in healthcare. And we have already conducted 2 to 3 courses, and we are about to announce another one, for the next month. Now, if we see the guidebook, it very well, gives the details of the concept of sustainability. That is why this sustainability is important. And it gives the guidance for implementation. So it gives, is a practical guide. Plus, it gives a strategic framework for sustainability, means the organizational architecture. Now, it also has the references and resource material, which gives a deeper learning. And there is a self-assessment checklist, which is a foundation. And then examples of best practices, which the hospitals, we had invited best practices from hospitals, and voluntarily they had, contributed to best practices for our guidebook. So just to, apprise you about one or two case studies, there's a 1600 bedded hospital in Chennai, which replaced its conventional laundry machine with an energy efficient laundry machine. Now the running time was reduced from 11 hours to 8 hours, and there was dramatic effects which the hospital observed. There was lower power consumption, there was optimized water usage, the better performance and reliability, it was cost saving, and moreover the biggest effect was environmental impact. So lesser carbon footprint. Another hospital, a 300 bedded, resource constraint, not a very big hospital, but also took this initiative of turning garden waste into green gold. So manure. So it helped in saving. It was cost effective, because earlier they were having challenges of managing that garden waste. So this was one. And then 750 bedded hospital in Mumbai. They also used, they installed the motion sensors for lighting. So that was also cost effective, and this reduced they did the energy audit, and it was very, very useful for them. So I mean to say that they are smaller actions, but they have large impacts. So go through our guidebook. It mentions small, small steps. You can start with small steps and you will feel that there are larger impacts on that. So I just quickly explain the certification scheme. So as I told that these are the objectives: to create awareness, to guide professionals, support organization, and enhance capacity. So eligibility, I'll just inform that presently this scheme is open only for the accredited hospitals because they already have the established quality management system. The application has to be uploaded on the portal of NABH, and it has to be supported with the geotagged and time-stamped photographs and documents. And the hospital will have to rate the hospital itself, like in the form of 0, 5, or 10. 0 means no implementation, 5 is partial, and then 10 is fully compliant. And the certificate, after we will review and we'll issue a certificate which will be valid for 2 years. This is a self-assessment checklist. This checklist is available in the guidebook. You can see that there are 7 sections in the form of governance, infrastructure, utilities, waste management, food management, transportation, anesthesia gases, and human resource training and awareness. Before releasing this checklist, we did an extensive pilot study. This was done to ensure that the checklist is measurable, practical, and relevant. So these are the scores, or these are the elements which are under each section. So there are 7 sections, and there are total of 134 objective elements. And you would see they have been categorized into core, commitment, achievement, and excellence. So this is the certification process. Quickly, I will take you through. And after the hospital uploads the documents and the application and pays a nominal fee of 11,000, we will review the application. And after, if the hospital is compliant and is overall score is 65%, we will award the certificate. So this is the certification criteria. The hospital has to show compliance of at least 65% overall, and at least 50% in each of the section. So this is all about the certification scheme. We are open for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Punam, and congratulations. You have so beautifully shown us the journey which NABH took from green hospitals to aligning your standards according to sustainability. Very good step. The very first question which I would like to ask and start with, a lot of small hospitals and HCHOs, they have this feeling that the sustainability also requires a lot of investment. So how do you suggest to them, and what are the measures you would suggest? You've shown us that there is a book which shows all, but can you just enumerate what are the things they can start with as small steps towards achieving sustainability?
So as you said, SSCO or a resource-constrained hospital would see it as a cost. But I would like to say that see it as a investment, because you would see the return on investment. So there are many hospitals which have shared the best practices, and they showed that they invested that amount, and that was they got the return within some months, not even years, sir. The hospital, the motion sensors which they installed, they had only invested 12.5 lakhs. And the return came in 15 months. And there was, additional cost which they saved towards the electricity bills. So this is just one example. So don't see it as a cost. Just see it as an investment. And the hospital will, always feel that there was a return on this investment. So don't see it as an expenditure, I would say so.
Very, very right. Any questions from the audience? We don't have much time, so 1 or 2 questions we'll allow. Yes, sir.
This is not a question, more of a suggestion or just to give some feedback. NABH is doing, there's no doubt that is doing wonderful job and then good and assessing the quality and all that. But I feel such forum should also be there to know whether the NABH requires any feedback from the big hospitals, whether to include something or to exclude something so that should be meaningful. That's one. Second thing, self-assessment is good. It makes your job easy. But I think it should also have some supervision because the self-assessment may lose its, again, there may be standards may come down because nobody would like to say that I don't have these so many, I have so many lapses and all that. So every self-assessment will be 100%. So this should also be counter-checked by the NABH. That's what I feel.
So to answer both your questions, question one is about, getting feedback from the hospitals and stakeholders. So as per our standard development process, we do keep the standards, the draft standards on the website for wider circulation and for getting the feedback. So even these, this checklist was also placed on the website for the stakeholders' comments, and almost 15 to 20 days are given for the feedback to be shared. Secondly, sir, as you said, self-assessment, this is only a beginning, sir. So this is to encourage the hospital because most of the hospital don't even know about sustainability and the concepts, sir. So maybe, in the future, we might, start doing the physical assessment. It's self-assessment, plus the hospitals are required to, upload the evidences of whatever they are claiming. So this is my answer, sir.
Yeah, madam. Yeah. I'm immediate past president of Telangana Private Hospitals Association in Telangana. The general perception is that, going for NABH accreditation involves a lot of cost. So this is where most of the hospitals are not coming forward, especially small nursing homes. If you see, you're having SHOs less than 50 beds. If you can categorize still lower than like up to 20 beds or 30 beds, so that there will be more categories. It will be easy for small hospitals. Once they get into the bandwagon of NABH, then they can increase their bed strength, and the standards are also can be increased. Now you're adding one more sustainability of environment. That's very nice. But if it is done gradually, it will not be a burden on the smaller hospitals. So ultimately, what it matters for most of the smaller hospitals is the cost. If that is taken care of, then I think most hospitals will join into this.
So first of all, I would like to clarify that the schemes are totally voluntary. So we function in voluntary space. So this scheme is also voluntary. It's not a binding on the hospitals, which even if they are accredited to go for this certification scheme. Plus, sir, as you have talked, cost. First thing is quality comes with a cost. You cannot imagine, quality being, implemented without any expenditure or without any cost. But then, there is a return on investment. I would call it as investment, not an expenditure. So we are conducting yatras. Yatras are basically a awareness program. Last year, we did almost 300 yatras across country. And we are going around the country to remove this myth that it is a cost. It's a return on investment. We very, in detail, we explain that how the investment is, returning the revenues to the hospital. So I would, urge that, attend one of the yatra and see how the returns on investments are coming back to the hospitals. So you wanted to,
Yes, I'm Dr. H.E.L.P. from Bhopal.
Yes.
I've gone through your book, I think, and I recommend everybody should go through the book. It is so good regarding that climate change which you have just introduced. Each and every line is very informative and very educative, and it will promote everybody's mind to go in for certification. Why just simple request. After this certification, we should have a separate monophore also from your side, GGHH, NABH accredited hospital, so that it becomes an emblem at the gate or something like that, because So many agencies are giving green hospital certification just on phone calls. So that, and your will be more authenticated certification. And regarding that, sir's answer I can give. I think you said that it will be for the SSCOs or only for the accredited and entry-level hospitals. So this can be verified during your assessment or the surveillance rounds when we apply for the renewals or during the accreditation process, so that your problem can be solved.
Sorry to
outside.
interrupt. As this is the concept of time, I apologize on behalf of the conference.
So your
I
suggestion is well noted, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
I
over
thank
lunch,
Punam Madam,
you can answer, madam.
Priyanka Madam, and also Sir for making this program very successful. Thank you very much.
To hand over the mementos to the
Thank you. Sure,
speakers
sure, I'll do that.
and so. Now, next, I'd like to invite, I think a big round of applause for a wonderful session from NABH, and we appreciate the initiatives being taken by NABH for the Green Hospital concept. Now, next, we go to the next keynote address, Media as a Catalyst for Sustainable Healthcare Narratives. I'd like to invite our Captain, Ajitha Nair, H.E.L.P Regional Lead from Southern Region. Captain Ajitha Nair. I request Mrs. Meghna Singhania, Founder and Editor-in-Chief of Medical Dialogues, to kindly come onto the dais. Ms. Meghna Singhania?
I'm here.
Yep.
Good afternoon, all of you. I think we are standing in between lunch and you, but well, you will have to bear with that. That's how the organizers have decided. So I'm here to introduce Ms. Meghna Singhania. She is the founder and editor-in-chief of Medical Dialogues. I'm sure many of you would be getting this magazine on your emails. This is India's largest medical and health news platform. She's a postgraduate in healthcare economics from London School of Economics, and she has launched Medical Dialogues, I guess, in 2011 to strengthen credible medical journalism. I like that word, credible medical journalism. And now it reaches over 7 lakh healthcare practitioners and over 2 million monthly readers. Under her leadership, the platform has joined the WHO Vaccine Safety Net, become an IFCN signatory, and she has received the IFCN Build Grant to combat medical misinformation. I'm sure we all are the victims of medical misinformation, and in the forms of our aggressive patients, we meet the impact of medical misinformation almost every day in our lives. She's been recently honored with the British Council Science and Sustainability Award, and she continues to champion the aspect of responsible health communication. The role of responsible health communication cannot be overemphasized in today's setting. And when we talk about sustainability and climate action, there is a lot of misinformation too out there. I guess today there are thousands of courses out there, which gives you certification on sustainability and climate health. how many of it is authentic, we really have no idea. And what people say also, we get to hear very conflicting, opinions and information. So I feel that those who work in climate and sustainability, a lot of them, despite being very sincere to the cause, are misinformed, unfortunately. We probably, the help needs to sort this out. I don't know whether you agree, Chandan. So this is something which I come across every day when trying to impress people on the need for acting for climate change. And I did listen to the lady who asked a very pertinent question, which many of us did not have the answer. But my take on this is that we have to rely upon the innate resilience ability of Mother Earth, on one side, and the other side, the power of collective effort, however small the effort each one of us take as citizens, responsible citizens, understanding the impact of climate change and taking small actions towards this. And there is a unimaginable power on collective action, however small it is, which helps the planet Earth. With this introduction, I would request Ms. Singhania to give her perspectives. This is, I suppose, is a keynote address. The stage is to you, Ms. Singhania.
Thank you so much. We are battling technology at the moment. Just give us 2 minutes. Huh? Yes. Apologies for the inconvenience. I had some photographs that I wanted to show you in the PPT, so hence the wait. I am Meghna Singhania, and I'm going to talk to you about the role of media and the missing link, what it creates in when we are talking about sustainable healthcare. First of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you, Dr. Alex. Thank you, H.E.L.P. Thank you, PHFI, Yashoda Hospitals, for giving me the opportunity to talk about the role of media and what we can do when we talk about sustainable healthcare. But before I start with my conversations, I would like to walk you through some images. Anybody So these are pictures which were taken by a journalist, Madhuraj, who was documenting the faces, the stories of the victims of the tragedy of Kasargod. Now, for those who don't know about it, it was the tragedy started actually with in 1970s when the Plantation Corporation of Kerala started throwing a pesticide containing endosulfate in that particular district on the cashew nut crops. And what happened is by 1990s, residents began reporting serious health defects, including cerebral palsy, hydrocephalus, epilepsy. The doctors in the area, the journalists in the area, and the activists related it to the endosulfan cause, including Dr. Y.S. Mohan Kumar Sri Padre, a farmer journalist. And this was brought to light by certain media houses, including Down to Earth magazine, which reported the plight of these people in these villages, and then began a decade-long fight for a battle against this endosulfan. What happened at the end? In 2011, the Supreme Court of India banned the production and the sale of endosulfan. It was the first time in the world that it was done. This example was an example for the world also that prompted to ban the particular component, endosulfan. And in 2017, the Supreme Court of India went ahead and announced a further compensation of 5 lakh rupees for the victims and moving towards rehabilitation of the people in that area. The battle is still continuing for them, but there is some closure. Let me talk about the next image. Oh, before I say it, so can I take, as a media person, can I take the credit for that? No, it was the battle of the residents, it was the battle of the doctors, it was the battle of the activists, but media did play its role. You know, it would have remained a very small case of a small district in Kerala, but it was brought to national and international light only because the media began to report it. The next image. For those who don't understand Hindi, this is saying Bhopal is sitting on the edge of a volcano. And this goes back to the Bhopal tragedy. This article, we know the tragedy took place in 1984. This article was penned down by Rajkumar Keswani in 1982. In fact, he wrote a series of articles, you know, with very dramatic and heartfelt headlines. Please save the city. If you don't understand this, you will be wiped out. Bhopal is on a brink of disaster. He kept on warning about what's going to happen. Unfortunately, his voice didn't make an impact. So this was also, while I talk about the positives of media, this also shows the limitations that we have. We didn't get the closure there. The next example, what do you see in these images? Anybody? Nothing? Well, this is what we see in Delhi every winter. It's the pollution. So, but, you know, as a layman, I'm not, you know, going back to my science of maybe class 10, 12, I relate pollution as having serious health effects in terms of respiration. But no, you are doctors here, medical practitioners, pollution has an impact on every organ of the body. Cardiovascular, brain health, reproductive health. Now, I am not going to go, as a layperson, I'm not going to go to ask my gynecologist, okay, what is the impact of pollution on my reproduction? You know, that probably is not going to happen. And my gynecologist may be aware, but not be telling me so, because I have not asked that question. But how do I come across these facts? How do I know about these facts? Is because of the media, is because of the repeated articles which are being highlighted. So what's the role of media in the cause of sustainable healthcare? Well, when I was doing research on this topic, I came across this beautiful diagram which was talking about the various stakeholders of sustainable healthcare. You know, they're providers, patients, hospitals, all the probably representative of stakeholders, you know, which are present in this room today. I was a little disappointed because I could not see media as a stakeholder in this particular diagram. This is a document for Vision 2030 for sustainable healthcare. And when I was reading more about it, The article was saying that sustainable healthcare is less of an infrastructural issue, but more of a communication issue. And that's when I realized that media is not the circles that you see in the diagram. Media is actually the arrow that's connecting all the stakeholders. So, but why does sustainable health need a story? Why do we need a narrative? Why do we need media? Because on its own, we have scientists here, we have environmentalists in this room, we have doctors. We assume that the story, the sustainable healthcare story for a layperson is always too technical. It's always looks institutional, looks policy heavy, big words. I don't comprehend it. So we need the media to translate this story, to make it understandable, to make it aspirational, that yes, I want to do it, I would like to do it, and to make it doable, that yes, no, I can do it. So again, we had Punam ma'am talking about a few minutes ago about standards. So standards define what is sustainable healthcare. Technology enables how to do it. We have partnerships forging in this room that will help us implement it. The ESGs will measure, but the media will make it visible. And that's what we focus on. So how can media support sustainable healthcare? Well, we are not doing any rocket science as media. We join hands with you. We investigate the issue. We take it a point to inform the public. We make sense of it. We make it simpler. We try to influence, and we try to collect and unite stakeholders of different, of areas, join hands together, and hold whoever is accountable. Before I move on, I would like to talk about the final point is why and how we can do it, how we can build sustainable healthcare narratives. This is more for media persons in this room. We have to move away from crisis reporting to prevention storytelling. It's not that, oh, this has happened. We have to go one step backward. We have, just learn something from Keswani and try to warn beforehand. Moreover, we have to move away from negative stories to positive stories. In media terminology, negative stories always draw more traction. They always draw more hits, views, readership. But it's the positive stories that leave a long-lasting impact. So we have to move away from negative stories to talk about positive stories. We have to celebrate models, which are worth copying. So it's important that, when we tell positive stories, we have to tell this was the case, this is how they did it, this is what they achieved. Like Punam ma'am was giving an example, this is the hospital, this is what they did, this is what they got. Imagine if other hospitals knew that by investing 12 lakhs in a year on lights, I can probably in 15 months save those 12 lakhs and have a constant earning, further saving more. That is going to inspire other small hospitals also to implement it. More importantly, and what is important for us, is to follow up after the headline. It's not just about one story. It's about repeated drilling on the point again and again and again. And this brings me to another example, and Dr. Alex is in the room. Around 10 years ago, when I was just started off my journey of medical dialogues, I came across a very small gazette, which was a 2-line gazette that DNB is not equivalent to MD anymore. So doctors will have a more understanding of that. The mainstream media was obviously not interested in the matter. I didn't comprehend the matter till somebody sent me a message saying this is not fair. And that's when I came across Dr. Alex. He explained me the issue. We joined hands together. I think in the past, decade, Dr. Alex has gone from pillar to post, PMO, Health Ministry, NMC, asking for equivalence of DNB and MD. And later on, we were joining hands with him. I think I've reported more than 50 stories on this matter. And finally, thanks to you, Dr. Alex, we got that closure also. So anybody who's doing DNB in any private hospital and wants to have the career of a teacher in a medical college, you know who to thank. Is Dr. Alex running around for 10 years getting that. So thanks. And that's another point that I want to make. It's not just one story. It's repeated story. We want to talk about sustainable healthcare. We have to keep on talking about it. But more importantly, apart from media, it is also, I would like to appeal to the members in this particular room, that you also have a role to play. Why? Because it's your story. If there's a sustainable health story, you have to own the story. You have to go out to a particular journalist and tell them. If you don't tell your own story, why do you expect a journalist to tell it? More importantly, you have to make them understand and believe. So I gave the previous example, if a journalist understands your cause or your fight or what you're trying to say, they will report the story. But if they are able to relate to what you're saying, you will find that they are going to raise the issue more number of times than probably you do. More importantly, also, you are doctors here, you are medical practitioners, you are environmentalists, you know the facts, you know the numbers. Don't assume that the media knows everything. They are again like jack of all trades, but you are the masters. So you have to make it understandable to them. More importantly, also give them stories, give them narrations. It's not just one line or big fat line that I've made. It's make it understandable, give them stories that others are able to emulate. And more importantly, also one more final point, we have the social media now. With social media, it's a very big equalizer. Everybody has a chance to get a tinge of media. You can go out and make your own stories using an Instagram reel or YouTube shorts. So you can tell your own story, but use it responsibly. Do not use it to abuse, but to inspire. So that's sort of my take on how we can build up sustainable health narratives. As I don't want to keep you away from your lunch, if anybody has any sustainable health story, please while eating food, let's have a quick chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghna, for that sweet and short account from your side. Most of it covered probably self-discipline matters. But however, I wish there are more journalists listening out there, because all healthcare issues, as you said, if it is preventive or if it is forecasting, it doesn't have the sensationalism which the media grabs attention for. So that probably comes in between the reporting of something which after happening, because it has more readership or viewership, and the other preventive things fall apart like any other thing what we talks about. Yes, well, we are when we are aware of, I guess we can reach out to more journalists. But however, journalists, I did try a couple of times with no avail. So maybe your kind of journalists we would like to see more. And there's a lot to talk. There is a lot to write about. And for the general public, as I said earlier, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Well, I don't think we have time for questions. Do we have? Okay, maybe a couple of questions. Yeah, if you don't mind cutting into lunch time, yes. Please make it short.
It was a wonderful presentation, especially when you talked from negative journalism to positive journalism, which is hardly seen in our country. All negatives on the front page, positive things are not there in the. When I talked to one of the journalists, he said, "Akhbar pehle bikta hai, fir chhapta hai." So you are saying you give you a story, it will never be there, as madam said. So pehle wo bikega. If a hospital doesn't give advertisement, they will not print in the media about its new technology coming into the city, into the hospital, because they think it is an advertisement. But it is, in fact, it is a positive news for the society that a new, for example, robot has come in the city first time, a new nuclear accelerator has come. It is for the general public, but if you don't give the advertisement, they will not. So I was the witness for the gas victim also in 1984. I did MD in that area. Yes. So negative journalism, one more example, like smart meters, it was there. Yes, a quick example, like smart meters when they came, everywhere in the TV it was there that in UP and Bihar they have taken out the smart meters and they have all fired. But nobody questioned why no journalist gave the answer why it is bad. When I asked one of the chief engineers, what is so special about the smart meters? So smart technology was there in the morning. So he gave a question, he gave the answer. During the daytime, the rating is 20% less. Your billing will be 20% less during the daytime. So you can, while your shops, your factories are there, you can consume more energy at a 20% less cost. During the night, in order to sensitize the people, use less electricity, 20% more is the rating. So this is one difference. Secondly, he said, the persons who used to come on motorcycles to take your readings, they used to.
I think the time is over for the question and answer sessions.
One minute.
And
Feel free to connect
yeah.
with me during lunch.
Yeah, during lunch. I think we can
Wonderful
connect.
listening to you. And on the lighter side, you perhaps missed us Delhiites standing in that picture of Delhi that you showed.
Maybe, sir, you
My
can't see
question
anything.
straight to you is, as a media person, my name is Rajiv Khurana, I'm the founder trustee of Lung Care Foundation. As a media person, what do you think should be done to galvanize the energy of the media to especially work on 3 alphabets, Bha in Hindi? First, Bhav. How much value people as well as the doctor community give to this sustainability cause. Second, Bhavna, the commitment for action. And third is Bhay, because Bhay bina preeti na hoy gosai, and unless and until people are shit scared of this, their changes are not going to happen. So my query is, how should media professionals actually galvanize with a strong power to actually get the whole thing implemented? Thank you.
Well, first thing is to talk to more people like you. As I mentioned over here, you know, don't assume that media persons know everything, and they probably move on from one story to another. And so it's actually the duty of the medical professionals. That's why my last slide. You know, I'm not an expert. I don't understand things. I don't know what a green hospital is, by the way. But if you come and explain it to me, and you give me an example, I will be happy to understand it. And as I said, the moment I understand and I relate with your cause, I will be your ally to join hands with you to report on it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Meghna Singhania. And thank you very much for all the audience for a wonderful participation. I request Ajitha Nair to kindly present a memento to her, and she will in turn present the memento to you. So we break for lunch. We had a very, very engrossing session in the first session. So I request all the speakers, eminent speakers, and the panelists and the co-chairs and chairs to kindly proceed to the 7th floor. We have for all the faculties, we have lunch arranged for the 7th floor. Rest of the delegates can have lunch on the 5th floor itself. We will meet in 45 minutes time. Please time yourself. We'll start the session sharp at 2 o'clock if possible. So please have your lunch. We have served very good lunch, but then just be back in 45 minutes time. Thank you.